Finding your feet, samastiti, bend your knees, feel the weight of your feet into the ground. Let's take a few minutes. Inhale, straighten, exhale, bend. Feel the outside edges of the feet, maybe some tightness here and there. And yeah, just checking in with the body, how it is this morning. We do our very best to take care of ourselves, but you know, the body goes through its own karma, its own journey, and it's not always in a condition that makes things easy. Things like yoga certainly help. And yoga, meditation, other practices help us accept where it's at and try not to dwell in the suffering of the suffering. So that is in our control to a certain extent. How we're going to view it, how we're going to perceive it, how we're going to relate to the condition that we find ourselves in today. Just bending your knees, feel your feet. And through this journey, we will notice a change in our experience of the body-mind as the vehicle we're riding around in. Inhale, the arms coming up at your sides to your place. And for those of you with some rotator cuff stuff going on, you might want to try this front instead, because this might be a bit more challenging to bring it side. And it might be easier for you to have the palms facing up the whole way, for example, rather than palms down. So play with that. And then just flossing the upper back. Exhale, look at the feet. Inhale, looking center, and then gradually looking slightly up, perhaps palms together, perhaps interlocking them, and using the more resource side to help the less resource side. And exhale, release. Inhale, expand. And exhale, contract, center. Adding the breath awareness, constricting the throat, making the breath long, smooth, and soft, not too aggressive. Especially lengthening the exhale if you want to relax. Focusing more on the inhale if you want to bring in a bit more energy this morning. So you can play with that. You can lengthen one part of the breath versus the other. To play with the energetics. Consider staying in the full pose. As you inhale, maybe lifting the chest a bit. And as you exhale, rounding slightly, getting into the upper back, mid-back. Feel free to keep the arms moving or change the position of the arms to comfort if this is not working for you this morning due to injuries, etc. And release when you're ready. take our belt, and you're going to take your belt and make it about shoulder width apart. We're just going to bring in a little bit of shoulder work because we've got some people in the room with some shoulder stuff going on. I'm just going to come a little closer. So I've got mine like this. You can also put it there. You can even put it just below the elbows. So you can play with different positions. And we're going to inhale, bring the arms up overhead. And exhale, bring the arms down, and I'm pressing out, and that's actually strengthening. And if you bend the elbows, it's even more strengthening. So simple exercise. You can also do this with a band. I like it with the belt. I do use a band for some things, but I like this with the belt because it is stable and allows me to press out in a defined way. It doesn't change. I'm adding that movement of the neck and shoulders to floss the neck and shoulders if you want to add that piece. So like this. I'm going to try to inhale from the top to the bottom and exhale from the bottom to the top. Inhale, upper chest, lower chest, full belly. Exhale, pelvic floor, lower belly, chest falls, neck and shoulders fall. Feel the feet. Inhale, upper chest, lower chest, belly expands. Exhale, pelvic floor, lower belly, belly button in, chest falls, neck and shoulders relax. Feel the legs and feet. Do this again a few times on your own, or if you're done, feel free to take a rest. Anytime during the class, feel free to take a rest. And being summer, the sun gives us energy, but it can also make us a bit tired as it burns through some of our energy. You might just get overheated more easily in the summer. And rest and just notice that work on the arms, neck, and shoulders. We're going to go back to the side body. I'm going to do this off my mat. So I have a bit better balance. So maybe I'll come back to my mat. Okay, try it this way so I can see you. So inhale, coming up. The arms can be front or sides. And exhale, coming down. Full Tadasana. Just keep this going your own time. Getting into those feet, this very strengthening for the feet. If you like, as you exhale, you can try lifting your toes just to bring your weight back and try to strengthen the arch in a different way. Use the drawing of the belly in to help you balance. Keep slightly engaged in the pelvic floor as you start to inhale. Keep it going like this, or I invite you to take that belt and Put it on your ankles. And just coming up, inhale, coming up. Exhale, coming down. Just see if that gives you a bit more stability with that belt on your ankles. So if you've got one ankle different than the other, it's going to really help. So I know some of you, for example, have a right ankle that has an old injury. Also with your knees, if one knee is a little weaker than the other, having this belt can help. The strong side can help the weak side. And if you like, you can stay in the full pose. And exhale, coming down. Step out of that belt. I'll get better doing that over time. I do this one almost every day just to really work on strengthening the feet, the ankles, and all the way up the chain. We're going to just work with a side bend. Inhale, coming up. And we're going to fold the arms, holding opposite elbows just to begin as a change. If this is not comfortable, you can have your arms at the sides. You can also do this with a wall behind you. If you want more support, or if you find you rotate one side to the other as you go side, it can be helpful to do this on a wall. Inhale here, exhale, going to one side. So this is great for those of you with scoliosis in the thoracic, the upper back, which I know a couple of you have. 3 of you, I think, actually. So just feel if one side is a little tighter than the other. So one of you with the shoulder issue, you might notice that working this area might actually help your shoulder to create more space in the rib cage. And this also for our nervous system is very relaxing. And it's said to also help with our digestive system. These lateral bends, stretching the organs of digestion with a pendulum chime back and forth, like the movement of the small intestine. When you like, you might stay on one side to get more into the physical body, stretching between the ribs. And then you might stretch that top arm to get a bit deeper, especially if you know this is your tight side. If it's not, keep the elbow bent. See if you can keep breathing softly with length and refinement subtly. Inhale, coming up. And exhale, other side, keeping the breath long, smooth, subtle, soft. Potentially stretching that top arm. Maybe you feel it in a different part of the side body. Maybe the lower back more than the upper. Depends where your tightness is, or you can keep it bent. Try to keep from rotating forward. Keep those shoulders aligned. And inhale up. Exhale, release. And notice how you feel. We're going to just do a bit of a counter for all of that. The feet parallel. Inhale, arms at the sides, palms facing back. I'm just coming a little closer so I can see you better. And exhale like you're hugging a tree, rounding the spine. Inhale, coming up. And exhale, bending, Ardha Utkatasana. And feel the feet, the legs and feet, as you weight into the legs and feet with that bend. Inhale. Also tracking the knees over the second toes. So working with that tracking of the knees. Notice if one knee is talking to you a little more than the other this morning. And notice if you start wading a bit more into maybe one of your feet that you tend to avoid due to maybe problems in the ankles, the knees, the hips, or even into the back. And then take a rest in your samastiti. Feel your feet, feel your legs. Maybe you're starting to feel that apana energy that the yogis talk about, that downward flow of energy that is like a carrot growing in the ground, or beets, the root vegetables. Those vegetables, by the way, are said to increase that energy in the system. Right, so we're going to move up the chain a little bit. We're going to stretch one leg at a time. Parshva Uttanasana. So you're going to bring one leg forward, the other back. I'm starting with my left. And the back heel, we talked about this last week. The foot can be parallel, or you can turn the foot out for balance. So I'm going to try to keep mine fairly parallel. And you're going to inhale, bring your arms up in front or sides, if that's better for you. Exhale, pelvic floor contracting, lower belly, belly button in, and letting go into your forward fold, maybe bending the front knee. Inhale, arching up slightly. You could have blocks here. You could also have your hands on a chair now. Exhale, forward. Inhale, coming up. Let's do the arms sides. Just have a little more balance. You could have the arms front. And exhale. Let's just keep it going in this circle. Exhale, coming down. Inhale, sthiti, arching up. Exhale, forward bend. Inhale, coming up, arm side or along your ears. Just keep this going in your own timing, your own breath. speed it up or slow it down according to the length of your breath. There is at least one paper, I think I've read about 2 or 3 actually at this point, that say about doing about 6 breaths a minute optimize heart rate variability, which is a good thing to work on if you have AFib, atrial fibrillation. So about a 5-second inhale, exhale is what the research has been doing. My theory on that is because that's kind of the average of what people can get to. Yogis say keep lengthening the breath. You want to keep getting it longer and smoother. And when you're ready, just staying at the bottom now and breathing. If you like, you move a little bit. Inhale, arch up. Exhale, forward bend. Those of you with heart disease, just being careful of the forward bend. You might want to keep the head up rather than hanging it down, or you might want to just come halfway to your hands at a chair or a couch or a countertop. So just being careful of that for those of you with heart disease. When you're ready, starting to come up, I'm just going to step forward to make it a little easier this morning. Just take a moment to recalibrate. Might feel a little dizzy. And notice your feet, notice your legs, notice your nervous system. You probably feel a little bit more relaxed. Just trying to get in. Okay. All right, so we're going to do the other side. So right side, right foot forward, left back, or whatever your other side is. Your back foot turned out to comfort. Parshva Uttanasana, one-sided forward bend. Inhale, the arms coming up, front or sides. Chin coming down if you can, Jalandhara Bandha, chin lock. Said to activate the Apana Vayu, the downward flow of energy. When you engage that chin lock, it blocks the upward flow and helps with the downward flow. So that's a yogic idea. Inhale, sthiti, arching up. Exhale, forward bend. Bend the knee as needed. Inhale, arms side. Let's get a little bit more balance, or if you want to challenge yourself, you can bring them overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Pelvic floor, lower belly, belly button in, chest falls. Inhale, sthiti, arching up. Exhale, forward bend, maybe going a little deeper each time. Inhale, coming up, arm side. Jalandhara chin lock if it's comfortable. Keep this going. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. In your own time, exhale forward. Keep it going your own time. You can stay now or keep it moving. Stretching that front leg, hamstrings, the back leg, probably the calf and ankle, a bit more of your focus. And if you feel ready, staying in your forward bend now. If you want to have a little movement, you can add that stitty inhale, arching up, exhale, lengthening forward, or just stay. For those of you with a bit of a twist in your spine, you can always try twisting to one side to lengthen through the upper back and into the lower back. If you've got some shortness on one side, you can twist either way to get into that. And when you're ready, stepping forward, you're probably feeling your feet quite a bit. Up. Extremely strengthening. I think it's the most strengthening thing I know to do for the legs and feet is some of that work, especially a lot of repetitions. When I'm in India with my teacher Vijay, now retiring, she's 70, she'll do about maybe 4 standing poses max, but tons of repetition, and you just feel your feet and legs so much after every class. So just notice that, having done a lot of repetitions, and if you have one side that's a bit weaker than the other, can you just notice maybe that side a bit more? I certainly can in my own body. Just bending the knees, just noticing maybe how you're shifting your weight into that side that you might not go into too much. Okay. So we're going to do some forward bends with a cross. This is moving a little bit into our next focus next week, the hips, but it's also wonderful for the legs and feet. So I'm going to take my feet and cross my right foot behind first. You could do the opposite. I invite you to do your easier side first, whatever feels easier. So you can check it out, whatever feels easier, just do that side first. And it's thought neurologically that the easy side kind of prepares the less resource side. Gets things firing. Inhale, arms coming up, either front or sides. I'm going to interlock my fingers to take it up a notch. You do not have to do that. Exhale, forward bend. Now, again, you can do this with your hands coming to a chair. Inhale, I'm bringing my arms in line with my ears and coming up. And exhale, coming forward. So just keep this going your own time, up and down. Probably starting to feel into outside of the hip of the foot that is crossed back and into the whole side of that leg. Last week we did a lot of balancing work. This week a little bit more stretching and hip balancing. And if you like, you can stay at the bottom and breathe. Hands can be on blocks, on a chair. Try to feel both feet. If the crossing of the legs is hurting your knee, adjust your feet until it doesn't hurt your knee, or don't cross your feet. And when you're ready, coming up, very slowly, slide your arms, your hands up, fronts of your legs. Maybe take a breath halfway. And uncross. Find your samastiti. And then do the other side. So this might be your harder side. Again, be aware of your knees. If this hurts your knees, just don't cross them or modify the crossing. Some of you, you'll be able to cross your feet right beside each other. So just play with that. Inhale. I'm adding that interlocking of the fingers just to help with lengthening the spine a bit more as I do this. Exhale, pelvic floor, lower belly, belly button in, chest falls. Inhale, upper back, middle back, lower back, expanding the belly. Exhale, pelvic floor, lower belly, belly button in, chest falls. Inhale, upper back, middle back, lower back, belly expands. Keep this going your own time. All these forward bends we're doing today are very relaxing for the mind, cooling for the body. They're what are called Langana Kriya. They help reduce everything, including toxins. When you're ready, maybe staying at the bottom, or you could have your hands on a chair, blocks, etc. Keep a slight movement. Inhale, arching, stitchy. Exhale, forward, or just stay. Notice the stretch on the outside of the hip of that foot that's crossed back, maybe into the lower back. And when you're ready, very slowly coming up, just be careful of your balance. So this is obviously working with balance as well. And just find your samastiti. You should be starting to feel a lot of that up Prana Vayu, that downward flow of energy, having done the forward bends. Physiologically, bringing the head lower than the heart sends a message to the heart to down regulate the nervous system. Everything just slows down. Heart rate, blood pressure, go into relaxation. Very simple way of grounding. Now, just in case that hurt your knees at all, I'm just going to work with the knees a little bit by stretching the calves and the backs of the legs. So coming to a wall, or I've got my rail here, which I love to use in the summer as a prop. It's a wonderful yoga prop. But you can use the back of a chair. If the chair is at a wall, you could use the seat of the chair, have your hands at that. And then bring your back foot to a place that feels like a good stretch for you. That front knee tracking over the second toe, not bending beyond the toes. It's a general cue to keep everything safe. And I like to put my forehead on the folded arms. You could also have your arms like this, or even palms together. That's really nice for the shoulders, actually. So those of you shoulder stuff, or even creating a little bit more room in the rib cage and the lats. This might feel good. Now, as you exhale, maybe bend that back knee and inhale, straighten. You might be able to walk the heel further back eventually. And if you have tight ankles, you might feel this in the ankles. Exhale, bend the knee, inhale, straighten. When you're ready, stepping forward and switching sides. Try to get your feet parallel. The little toe side is an approximate cue, depending on your bones. Finding a place for your arms that works well for you. I'm showing a variation that works with the shoulders, which is a sub-theme today because of who's in the room. Again, this is a bit more relaxing. It's a half forward bend. A little bit more cooling for a hot day. Here in the Pacific Northwest, it's hot and sunny finally. We've had a cool summer. Inhale, straighten, exhale, bend. That back knee getting into the deeper calf muscle, the soleus. And maybe gradually bringing that back foot a little further back, testing that out. This can be great for plantar fasciitis, working with stretching the calves. Tight ankles. See if you can feel that connective tissue all the way down to the bottoms of the feet. Maybe just staying and breathing. And ready, coming out, and then coming to a spinal stretch. hands on the wall or the back of a chair or seat of a chair. Move your hips side to side, stretching underneath the armpits for the shoulder issues in the room, and into the side body, to the hips, maybe bending one knee as you go to that side, maybe turning the head to one side at a time. And just work with the upper back a bit for the shoulder stuff. Inhale, look up. Exhale, bend the knees and look down. Inhale, looking up, straighten the legs. Exhale, looking down. Widen the knees so that they're heading towards the little toe side of the foot as you bend. Inhale, straighten if you can. Great for working with the upper back, mid-back, flexibility, heart health. So, as promised, we're going to do a little bit more supine work today. So, just invite you to get your mat in a position comfortable for that. And I'm going to get myself out of the sun so that I don't fry today. And I'm just going to angle my camera down. You can see me. Okay, yeah, you'll be able to see me. Okay, right. So, okay, all right. So lying down. I tried a different view, but it is not working. So I'm going to try this again. Okay, that's better. So lying down, and we're just going to start with that Tadaka Mudra for the knees. And, oh, actually, so you have your belt, but I'm going to get you to grab your cushion too. You might want a blanket for your head. Let's just have those nearby. So this is if you want to work a little harder. You can have the pillow underneath your knees or underneath your thighs, even harder, the blanket. For those of you with tight neck and shoulders, you might want to fold that blanket and put it under your head. You'll be able to see me in full in a minute as I lie down. Thank you for letting me adjust for the hot sun. And you're going to point your toes as you inhale and exhale, flex your feet. Can you guys see me okay? Can you give me a thumbs up or down? If not, I will go back into the sun. Is it okay? I can't see you guys. It's so sunny. You're okay? Okay, thanks. All right, I just want to make sure you can see me. Okay. All right, so inhale, pointing the toes. I'm pressing out. The belt is on the ball of the foot, approximately a little lower. Exhale. I'm flexing my toes towards my nose, and I'm pressing the little toe side of the foot out. And it really works the muscles around the knees. Inhale, lengthen point the toes, and exhale, flex. Just get this going. Now, if you don't like having the arms coming up and down like this, alternatively, you can do angel arms along the ground. That feels better for you. And that cushion under the legs, I'm actually keeping my heels off the ground the whole time. This is quite challenging. And this is one I do at least 3 times a week to really keep working with strengthening the muscles around my knees. And I'm going to do some more of that work today because of who's in the room today. We've got some knee injuries. So we really stretched the legs in the first half of the class today and worked the feet quite a bit. Go a bit more into the knees. And then just rest the legs if you like, or if you want to keep working, and keep them flexed and go into the full pose if you like, arms overhead. If you like, interlock the fingers, palms facing away from the top of the head. And this is the full pose, Tadaka Mudra. Exhale, pelvic floor. Lower belly. Belly button in. Chest falls. Hold. 1, 2. Inhale. Upper chest, lower chest, full belly expanding. Exhale, pelvic floor. Lower belly. Belly button in. Chest falls. Hold after exhale. 1, 2, 3. Relax the feet at any time. Inhale, upper back, middle back, lower back. Belly expands. Chin in if you can. And rest. And that's surprisingly a lot of work. Very subtle. And I'm always amazed how strong yoga keeps us. I don't do much else exercise-wise except biking and walking. In the summer, that is, and some swimming. Oh, eagle flying overhead. That's very nice. Thank you, Mr. Eagle. Haven't seen that before. That was kind of cool. So just going to move with the legs. For this one, you might want to move your mat a bit so you can slide your legs better. I'm going to do that. Inhale, your arms are coming overhead to the floor behind you. Exhale, sliding one leg in, sliding the heel in as the hand comes down. Inhale, slide the heel back out as the same arm as leg comes up. And we're going to do the other side. It's very simple, but if you do it slowly and mindfully, you can really work the core as well as we're working with tracking of the knees. And if you got tightness in one shoulder or the other, I think I'm feeling that today in one shoulder, you will probably feel a bit of a stretch there too. Now, if that doesn't feel like enough of a challenge, you can try sliding both legs at the same time as the hands come down. It's good with the sun. You can see my legs. You can't see my upper body so well, but you see my legs, so that's good. Move a little further down so you can see them a bit better. And if you do it very slowly, still before you start to move, you will feel the core working. Pelvic floor, lower belly, belly button in. Prolapsed organ work, which is another thing that we women in particular have to work with as we age, especially for those of you who have had children. Part of it seems to be genetic. So strengthening the core, we call it mula bandha root block, which moves from the pelvic floor all the way to just below the belly button. And of course, this is working with tracking of the knees. We're going to take it up a notch. You can do this one side at a time if this is too much to do both legs. It's quite a bit of weight. Exhale, drawing in. Inhale, bring your legs up and flex your toes at the top of that. Exhale, release down, touch your toes to the earth, feel your core working. And inhale, extend out. So I created this a couple of months ago, just spontaneously when I was practicing one day. It's a mix of 3 different poses, Urdhva Prasarita Padasana, the legs up. Exhale, coming down, bit of a Apanasana, and inhale, extending to Tadaka Mudra. Exhale, drawing in, using the core to come all the way to your Apanasana, knees to chest. Inhale, extending up, Urdhva Prasarita Padasana. Exhale, coming down, the knees can come to the chest or work a little harder, touch the toes to the ground, use your core a bit more. And inhale, extending out. There's huge benefits for whole body, strengthening this center of our body. The yogis say the center of the body is actually the belly button. They say 72,000 nadis or little rivers come out of that spot. Now let's just do one more. We're going to leave our legs up. Feel the grounding effect or the Apanavayu effect from bringing the legs up. If it's uncomfortable for you to stay there, I don't know what happened to my belt. Oh, there it is. You can use your belt. For example, if your legs are tight and you can't just leave your legs there comfortably, you can take your belt and put it on your legs. Mine are feeling a bit that way today. It's too much gardening, I think. My legs are a little sore today. So you can just hang out that way. And your belt is long enough, you can play with putting it behind your head. But be careful of that one. That's something I really like to do. And just stay here and breathe. Your hands can be to the sky, legs just up, bend knees slightly if you like, or using the belt in any of those positions I mentioned. If you want to increase the inversion effect, take your pillow, cushion, or if you have a full bolster, you can even use that. I do this very often as a yoga break in the middle of the day, especially when I notice my legs are starting to swell from having been in my bar stool at my computer desk. I have a standing desk, which I go back and forth between the bar stool and standing. And I do find my legs tend to swell a lot in the summer, so I just do this pose in the middle of the day. Exhale, I draw my knees, my legs in towards my face, and inhale, bring my legs away. This is now showing with the belt. You could do it without a belt as well. Or just stay in that semi-inversion. So we think by raising the pelvis gives us more of an inversion, obviously, but also helps the venous blood return to the heart more easily, and also helps the lymphatic system work more effectively. It also needs to move or be inverted to get that fluid moving. Fluid picks up waste all over the body, so very important. The lymphatic system. We're removing toxins. And head lower than the heart, perhaps, depending on how high your pelvis is. Perhaps this is relaxing the nervous system, the mind. When you're ready, release one leg. I'm going to leave this cushion here. You could remove it, and you could even, if you have a bolster, use that. It's a deeper stretch for the psoas. I might show that when we go into the hips next week. So I've got one foot in the belt, the other leg is out. That lower leg can be bent, it makes it easier. You can remove that pillow or leave it. Makes it a bit easier with that pillow and a deeper stretch for the hip of the leg down. Exhale, I'm going to bend the knee of the leg in the belt. Inhale, extend. And I'm going to point the toes, bring the leg away. Do that a few times. Tracking the knees, exhale, bend the knee. So it's aligned about with the second toe. Just checking that out. Working with tracking the knees as you bend and straighten. Motion is lotion. Important for osteoarthritis, rheumatoid arthritis. Just keep everything moving. Maybe staying with that leg straight. Inhale, pointing the toes. I like to do the lower toes as well, the foot on the ground. Exhale, flexing the toes towards the nose and bringing the leg towards you a bit. Just keep that going. Stretching the back of the leg a bit more. Maybe the calf you're feeling, that's your tight area, or the hamstrings behind the thigh. Feel free to bend that lower leg if that feels better for you. And switching legs. So these leg stretches are another thing that I would do a few times a week at minimum for leg health. And also nervous system health. And also circulatory health. It really works with circulation, helping the blood return to the heart. So the veins, in order to get them doing their work, you have to move or you have to invert. Same with the lymphatic systems. You want to be inverting and moving as much as you can. Keep everything working well in your circulatory system. Inhale, pointing the toe. Exhale, flexing the toes towards your nose, bending that knee. You might feel the opposite hip getting quite a stretch as you do this too. Different ways that are taught to hold the belt. I like to hold the belt in a way that shoulders are looping down. So my shoulders are flush on the ground as I do this, so I'm not aggravating the neck and shoulders as I stretch the legs. If it feels right, just keeping the legs straight now. It's a little harder. Inhale, pointing the toes as you move the leg away. Exhale, flex the toes as you bring the leg towards you. And notice if you feel one leg differently than the other. Notice how that translates into your life. Those of you with the knee injuries, this should feel really good, I hope. Lubricating, encouraging synovial fluid uptake in the knee. After we strengthened a lot around the knee. Maybe just stay in your leg stretch now without moving, or keep it moving. You could play with that loop of the belt behind the head if that works for you. When you're ready to bring both legs into the belt, just enjoy that semi-inversion again, and you can move a little bit more towards a halasana. You want to bring the feet towards your face, keeping the lower back moving towards the floor or the cushion. Just compressing the gut, changing blood flow this way. And with heart disease, being careful of these inversions. Small pillow should be fine with the legs up to the sky. Compressing the gut might be too much, so just be aware how you feel for those of you who have heart conditions. And just finishing up. And if you have a wall nearby, you could end with your legs up the wall. I'm just going to end in a simple shavasana myself. I put my cushion under my thighs, knees, just to help balance my pelvis, but that is up to you. And just rest here. Do a nice 5-minute shavasana and then end with some breathing, chanting today.